One Zambia, One Nation. Thank you so much for joining us on ZANIS News. To present it, I'm Michero Lubinda. The headlines. Zambia-Israel sign framework of cooperation. Construction of houses in Chinga to commence. 226 youths selected for internship in Northern Province. Plus, judo to be promoted in refugee settlements. The news in detail. Zambia and Israel have signed a general framework agreement of cooperation. Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Stanley Kakubo signed on behalf of Zambia, while Mr. Eli Cohen signed on behalf of the State of Israel. Meanwhile, President Hakainde Hichilema is in Israel for a 3-day state visit at the invitation of President Isaac Herzog. President Hichilema is accompanied by First Lady Mutinta Hichilema.
President Hakainde Hichilema has arrived in Israel for a 3-day state visit, marking his debut visit to this country since his election as Zambia's 7th Republican president in August 2021. President Hichilema, accompanied by First Lady Mrs. Mutinta Hichilema, is in Israel at the invitation of His Excellency Mr. Isaac Herzog, President of the State of Israel. The president arrived through Tel Aviv at exactly 07 hours local time. The president later departed Tel Aviv for the holy city of Jerusalem by road, covering a distance of about 52 kilometers to the King David Hotel, where he will be accommodated. While in Jerusalem, the president is expected to attend a meeting on creating an ecosystem for innovation, the Israeli model at the King David Hotel, Ambassador's Garden Mall. Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Minister Stanley Kakubo says President Hichilema's visit not only marks a significant milestone towards strengthening the bilateral cooperation between Zambia and Israel, but that it also serves to reinforce the enduring alliance grounded in shared values and the mutual aspirations for prosperity between the two nations. Meanwhile, Zambia and Israel have signed a general framework agreement of cooperation. The signing ceremony by the two foreign affairs ministers, Stanley Kakubo for Zambia and Eli Cohen for Israel, took place at the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs headquarters here in Jerusalem.
Yeah. Hello.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Kakubo said this broad-based agreement is designed to pave the way for the multifaceted collaboration between the two countries.
Excellency and ourselves have also agreed to really to enhance the friendship between ourselves and Israel in key strategic areas of our development for mutual benefit of both the Zambian people and the people of the state of Israel.
We have a historic visit. The President of Zambia and the Minister Kukubu here in Israel. We definitely agreed to work together in the international arena to strengthen the economic and bilateral relation, to be focused on agriculture, water management, and the health for the benefit of our people. We will definitely work together that the people in Zambia and in Israel will receive the fruits of this important visit. Thank you.
Jonathan Karipoti for ZANIS News in Jerusalem, Israel.
And President Hakainde Hichilema has visited the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem, a site where Jesus Christ was buried, and has reaffirmed his commitment to governing in accordance with the biblical principles. President Hichilema said this after a conducted tour of the historical religious place. More in the following report.
President Hakainde Hichilema and First Lady Mutinta Hichilema reciting a prayer for Zambia's prosperity when they visited the Wailing Wall or the Western Wall in Jerusalem. This is the only documented place where the Lord Jesus Christ is buried. The President took time to visit the tomb of Jesus. The President took time to visit the tomb of Jesus, the place where Jesus is said to have had his last supper with his 12 disciples, the tomb of David, and the Zion Gate. The President said his visit here revigorates his desire of governing the country through the biblical teachings of our Lord Jesus Christ.
I don't know if you can call this anything other than just and historic. And for us in public office, being charged with responsibility to run public affairs, you take a cue from here. You take some lessons from here. How to do things correctly and how not to do things. A bit of a mix, if you like. But I think we must always draw the better side, the positive side, the lessons for the future, basically, for good, lessons of that which represents good.
It was a double blessing for the President and the First Lady, as their visit here also marks their wedding anniversary. Not only that, today is also a Jewish Valentine. Located in the old city of Jerusalem in Israel, it is the last remaining outer wall of the ancient Jewish temple at an incredibly important site of modern Israel history.
I spoke with the president of Zambia and the people of Zambia with a message from the tomb of King David to keep the 7 Noahide laws. You can read in the internet in all languages. We are looking for peace all over the world, but there are still more than 10,000 nuclear weapons around the world. God forbids. We don't need weapons, we don't need hatred, no jealousy, and no wars. We can unify ourselves and get the blessing under the belief in one God. Only one God who created the world, as in the only King that leads the whole world.
Thousands of people of all faiths journey to the wall every year to visit and recite their prayers. Traditionally, these prayers are either spoken or written down and placed in the cracks of the wall. The wall splits into 2 sections, one area for males and the other for females. Kalan Muchima, reporting for ZANIS, in Jerusalem, Israel.
In Lusaka, government says the country has continued to be a source of human trafficking and hub where victims are recruited from. Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security Permanent Secretary Dickson Mutambo states that the country has also continued to be a transit which traffickers transport their victims en route to their destinations. Mr. Mutambo said this during the commemoration of the World Day Against Human Trafficking in Lusaka. The Permanent Secretary stated that Zambia, as a member of the global community, observes the annual World Day Against Human Trafficking, which was officially launched by Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security Jack Mwimbu on 29 July 2023. And speaking at the same event, International Organization for Migration Chief of Mission, Keisha Livemore, commended government for the efforts it has made in combating human trafficking in the country. Ms. Keisha observed that the efforts by government are gaining global recognition.
Zambia has continued to be a source country from which victims are recruited, as well as a transit country which traffickers transport their victims en route to their destination. Zambia is also a destination country for victims of human trafficking. The country experiences both domestic and cross-border human trafficking. Therefore, Zambia, as a member of the global community, joins the rest of the world in observing the annual World Day Against Human Trafficking, which was officially launched by the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security, Honorable Jack Jacob Mwimbu, MP, on 29 July 2023.
And I would just like to take the opportunity to commit on behalf of the UN Resident Coordinator the continued support of UN Zambia to the government in ensuring that all steps are taken, all efforts are made to combat trafficking in persons here in Zambia.
Government has disclosed that 26 wildlife officers were killed during the course of duty in 2022. Minister of Tourism Rodney Sikumba says the officers passed away owing to various reasons that include being killed by poachers, dangerous animals and diseases. Speaking in a speech read for him at the International World Rangers Day in Lusaka by Ministry of Tourism Permanent Secretary Evans Muhanga, Mr. Sikumba said among the 26 was the death of Wildlife Police Officer Cosmas Ngandwe, who died from injuries sustained from gunshots after being bedridden for 2 years. The minister said many more officers have sustained injuries in the line of duty. Department of National Parks and Wildlife Acting Director Andrew Chomba said 150 rangers were killed globally in the line of duty every year. The theme for this year's International World Rangers Day is 30 by 30.
Many more officers have been injured on duty through similar and other causes and are now suffering from their injuries or disabilities. We honor all these gallant men and women who are presently serving, including those that are currently injured and those who are deceased. To our brave Rangers, I wish to assure you that your sacrifice is not in vain. You are saving Zambia's wildlife heritage from the destructive force of a few greedy criminals who want self-gain at the expense of everyone else.
Globally, approximately 150 rangers die in the line of duty every year. Research also shows that 14% of rangers, that is 1 in every 7 rangers, are injured in the course of duty. This highlights the existing danger that our rangers experience on a daily basis when they go out for work.
Chinese ambassador to Zambia, Du Jiangwei, says Zambia's debt restructuring has opened new opportunities for Zambia's China cooperation. Mr. Du says President Hakainde Hichilema's administration has demonstrated continuity in fostering the all-weather friendship between Zambia and China. He said Zambia's debt restructuring process was a long and tough journey, which eventually was resolved through the cooperation between the two countries. Mr. Du was speaking when he paid a courtesy call on Lusaka Province Minister Shiu Mliata at her office. And Lusaka Province Minister Shiu Mliata has thanked the Chinese government for the role it played in Zambia's debt restructuring process. During the same meeting, Lusaka Province Permanent Secretary Robert Kamalata officially announced that the province has been granted authority to hold a provincial investment expo to be held within the first half of 2024.
The new Down government and the UPND administration under the leadership of the Mr. President, His Excellency President Hichilema, the continuity of the all-weather ship is ensured. And right now we are on a very important juncture for the future between China and Zambia. Debt restructuring process was tough. It is a very long and difficult journey, but with the principle common respect, common benefit, and a common development, we resolved this very challenge for the cooperation between China and Zambia, between Zambia and the other countries. Right now, we are facing new opportunities for the cooperation between China and Zambia.
Through that rescheduling now, we have to work hard. It's not a time to sit back, but to work hard so that we can meet the targets there. We want to thank you for your role that you played. Without China, we wouldn't have managed.
We are ready to work with the Chinese or China as a country. In fact, with her indulgence, may I announce officially to you that Lusaka province has been granted permission to host an expo next year, 2024.
So for the solar project that you talked about, and we were mentioning it with the minister before you came in, we thought that it would be a beautiful area for a solar project to be put in that area and be one that can actually power the entire Lusaka province and perhaps other provinces as well.
We take a break, and when we come back, construction of houses in Mchinga to commence.
Hello, it's time for you to know your rights. For ignorance of the law is no defense.
People should report any case of gender-based violence to the police. They should not be tempted to compromise the cases, because compromising a case of gender-based violence is actually an offense.
Zambia, like any other country, has got laws that govern the welfare of its citizens.
We provide some oversight on the police service.
When an officer misconducts himself, he's alone. One person being beaten is enough for the commission to move. The Constitution tells us that the people of Zambia must enjoy their liberties.
Every week on Thursday at 19:30 hours, the Zambia News and Information Services, ZANIS, brings to your screens a program dubbed Police and the Community.
If we, the police, and you, member of the public, will work together, because the common enemy we have before us is the criminal.
Catch ZANIS TV on Channel 6 DTT and Channel 458 DTH. ZANIS TV, the People's Channel. Life is a journey full of varied experiences. Can we reach our desired destiny? Can we achieve our desired goals? If yes, then how? Join Juliet Mutale on Thursday at 18:30 hours on How I Made It, a program that highlights various success stories from different personalities with different life experiences and backgrounds. Catch ZANIS TV on Channel 6 DTT and Channel 458 DTH. ZANIS TV, the People's Channel.
Welcome back. IHAD Innovations and Infrastructure Limited is set to construct housing units in all the 8 districts of Mchinga Province. Provincial Minister Henry Sikazwe says the construction of housing units by IHAD Investments and Infrastructure Limited will help resolve the housing deficit in the province. Details in the following report.
The Mchinga Investment Forum and Expo, slated for October this year, has continued to attract investors. IHAD Innovations and Infrastructure Limited has come on board to construct housing units in all the districts in Mchinga Province. Mchinga Province Minister Henry Sikazwe is happy that the construction of housing units will help resolve the housing deficit.
As the minister, I'm very excited because, we have got a deficit of houses in the provinces, in the province and in each district. What we have agreed with them is to put up about 50 houses in each district, that is from Mafinga, Isoka, Nakonde, all the 8 districts of Mchinga province. And they have assured us that they are using a modern equipment to come up with this housing project. We want to see Mchinga province, different from, the way it is now.
During the Meet the Minister fundraising dinner for the expo held in Mpika, IHAD Executive Officer Dennis Walia said that the housing project will have local and multinational financing sources.
And partners who have signed the MOU with the Mchinga Provincial Administration, and we have taken actually the center stage in making sure that we bring in investment, and not just investment but meaningful investment which is locally driven.
Peggy Gutinyu for ZANIS in Mpika, Mchinga Province.
And in agriculture news, Choma District Commissioner Gamela Sikalea has called on the beneficiaries of Food Security Pack program to increase their production so that they can remain food secure after graduating. Speaking when he flagged off the distribution of inputs for Choma Wetland Cropping Program, Mr. Sikalea urged the beneficiaries to use the inputs for the required purpose so that the objectives of the program is achieved. Wakumelo Stali reports.
Choma District Commissioner Gamela Sikalea has successfully flagged off the distribution
of the wetland cropping farming inputs under the Food Security Pack program. This empowerment program has made many households become food secure.
Ndarumba ihurumende yabahaga inde yatwetera imagana fertilizer auti tujane rusumpuko mumuzi akulya kabotu kambo ichiri meji batwetera fertilizer bakushanga magarden twajana jisuje suje twajana mali ponya tulaura hotuyanda twakala kabotu katutanasika chindi cha mainza
program yatugwasha maningi mwakamana notwakahora twakalima mapopwe manjiroko so yatugwasha maningi afamili twalibona leti afamili waba kusumpuka kuinda mazuva amanaya.
Choma District Commissioner Gamera Sikaria wants increased production and productivity among the beneficiaries.
The program started last year. We gave some last year and we are giving them now. Now what we want to emphasize is that we should only assist 1 or 2 times, and then a farmer should be able to graduate so that we are able to cater for others that are coming. So if we keep giving the same farmers, then it means that we will not be moving.
For Area Ward Councillor Hebi Sibajene, the concept of paying back must be embraced by all beneficiaries so that others can also benefit.
Jabola kulindiswe iwotoka jisumpule maomi esu. Bona tujibere hegenda na muzezo iwangurumende. Kwa mana kushanga ishango yesura isambara. Kwa mana kuisambara kote yamani koti sambare arasumpula maomi esu. Bona bamba tatu pirihe gahe wonto. Gauta abata pegwa abapegwe. Poninga kuligule yale yabona. No kumbira wangu kwa uti. Oku yakule yale yakwa karuligo musule. Ino kutaka akubipe.
Wakmelo Stali, ZANIS, in Choma District, Southern Province.
In a related development, government has given over 600 vulnerable but viable farmers in Livingstone farming inputs under the Farmer Security Pack program. The inputs include 2 bags of fertilizer and a 10-kilogram bag of maize seed. Here is a report.
Over 600 farmers in Livingstone have benefited from the government-sponsored Food Security Pack program. The pack is under the Wetland Food Security and comprises of 2 bags of fertilizer and maize seed among other inputs. Livingstone District Commissioner Eunice now flagged off the distribution of the inputs.
I officially flag off the distribution of wetland food security packs in Livingstone District. Fertilizer mbuto zose zilali angu 180. Inocho tutabikilimano ninzi. So mebo umichita encourage uti basa twapekwa not kuzya twapekwa twakusyanga ponya bana besu anomazi batatubadde kuchikolo pesa ngabajana chakulyede so twalumba loko.
The Food Security Pack program is being implemented by the Department of Community Development and allows farmers living near water bodies to embark on various farming activities.
This program is called Food Security Pack, and we are actually now started distributing what we call wetland. So we're in Chileloko, Siwa here in the east, and we're giving to 100 beneficiaries. So the DC has been kind enough to actually come and officiate or flag off the distribution. So the purpose of Food Security Pack is to improve the livelihoods of our farmers. We target the vulnerable but viable households. So the overall objectives are to improve their food security and nutrition at household level, as well as give them income generating activities that can uplift their living standards.
Lemli Kando, reporting for ZANIS in Livingstone.
PTA constructs infrastructure at Matero Boys. Stay tuned.
Life is a journey full of varied experiences. Can we reach our desired destiny? Can we achieve our desired goals? If yes, then how? Join Juliet Mutale on Thursday at 18:30 hours on How I Made It, a program that highlights various success stories from different personalities with different life experiences and backgrounds. Catch ZANIS TV on Channel 6 DTT and Channel 458 DTH. ZANIS TV, the People's Channel.
For news and current affairs, entertainment, sports, children's programs, and a host of other events in and beyond our borders, ZANIS TV has you covered. On Channel 6 and Channel 458 on Topstar.
The Parent Teachers Association (PTA) at Matero Boys Secondary School have constructed a 1x4 classroom block valued at over 200 million kwacha and are set to construct another one by 8 double-story building worth 3.5 million kwacha within the school premises. This initiative has impressed Lusaka District Commissioner Rosa Zulu. More in the following report.
Established in 1966 by the Society of Mary, known as the Marianist Brothers, Matero Boys Secondary School in Lusaka District, a grant-aided Catholic mission school, has become one of the best educational facilities in the country, providing quality education. With a population of 735 learners against 14 classrooms that are inadequate, the Parent Teachers Association initiated the construction of a 1x4 classroom block worth over 2 million kwacha and a double-story building worth 3.5 million kwacha that will have 8 classrooms and offices for the school staff.
This 1x4 classroom block, initially, it was designed to be a 1x3 classroom block, but because of the demand, not only by the people from Matero constituency, but by people from other places, we had to make it a 1x4, and we had to even include the abrasion block for the members of staff.
We have prepared the papers because the school is working with the Ministry of Education. Yeah, the purpose is that they do the correct thing, following the correct procedures, and following all the standards and the specifications that are required in this building. Because if we don't do a building, it can collapse.
This development has excited Lusaka District Commissioner, who officially opened the infrastructure and conducted the groundbreaking ceremony for the double-story building.
I'm sure parents, you are very happy to have 1x4 classroom block. I also feel so good as a district commissioner for Lusaka. How I wish all schools can also be added. We are pushing that most schools should at least be added with 1, 2, 3 to 4 blocks. Because we want all our children who are in streets, who were in streets, who were at home, to go back to school. And we are proudly telling you to say most of the children have gone back to school. So we are reducing on the junkies, isn't it?
Under CDF, we bought about 400 desks specifically for the new reconstructed building.
Matero Boys Secondary School head teacher has appreciated the government for its continued support to the school.
The grants are enabling us to procure teaching and learning materials, to maintain the school. So really it's a big relief to the schools, because unlike in the past where learners would learn throughout without paying, schools would run out of these resources. But now we are assured that every term the government will send this grant and our budgets will always be supported.
Mijelo Mwemba reporting for ZANIS in Lusaka.
The news continues. Chipembe Boarding Secondary School head teacher Albert Chituka says the introduction of the boarding school bursary under the Constituency Development Fund (CDF) is making a positive impact on the community. Mr. Chituka said this when the Provincial Constituency Development Fund Committee visited the school to check on the beneficiaries. Details in the following report.
This has been my dream school, so I just thank God for bringing such a program. They've really helped me a lot because my parents couldn't manage to pay for my school fees and all that.
This is testimony of the positive impact that the boarding school bursary component under the Constituency Development Fund has. The Provincial CDF Committee, led by Assistant Director Planning Justin Kapenda, visited Chipembe and Chisamba boarding schools.
To appreciate the Constituency Development Fund that are being disbursed to local authority to support the boarding. Oh yes. And also the skills training. Yes.
Pembe and Samba boarding school head teachers described the bursary as a game changer.
The challenge for the locals has always been accessing education here as boarders. But oh my God, with the coming of the CDF, it's like a savior to the local community.
I'd like to say the program is quite good. It's helping these children
because if they were not being helped, we don't know where they could have been this time.
And for most of the beneficiaries, this is a dream come true.
It's because my father is retired and my mom is a businesswoman who sells Cobra. CDF has really helped me a lot in terms of paying for my school fees. Thereby they have reduced the cost of expenses at home.
So for now, as CDF is sponsoring me, we are not having challenges like the way you used to have before.
Well, for me, I think government should try to put in more people into this program, because if you look at that, there are some girls who are seated home and not doing anything. As for me, I'm in grade 9 and my highest subject is always English, because I want to take literature, yes, so that I can have good English, and I want to become a journalist.
Kelvin Tembo for ZANIS in Samba District, Central Province.
Government has selected 226 youths in Northern Province for internship program in different departments in the province. Northern Province Permanent Secretary Bernard Mpundu, who was represented by Assistant Secretary Jordan Mwenya at the presentation of appointment letters, urged the interns to use their skills to contribute to the social and economic growth of the country. Taonga Nkoma has more in the following report.
These are part of the 226 youths from all the 12 districts in Northern Province who are receiving appointment letters from the Ministry of Youth, Sport and Arts under the internship program. The youths, who will be attached to different government departments and non-governmental organizations, were also oriented on how the internship program will run. Northern Province Permanent Secretary was represented at the function by Provincial Assistant Secretary Jordan Mwenya.
This program is meant for you to get some experience in your different areas of discipline or specialization. This program gives you an opportunity to use your knowledge, skills, and talents that you have acquired from school, universities, and colleges, so that you can contribute to the social and economic growth of the districts where you have come from and the country as a whole.
Director Human Resource for National Youth Development Council has urged the youths not to take this opportunity lightly.
Take this opportunity seriously. When you are attached or placed to institutions, put in your best, be committed, be there, be hardworking. You should be a role model to other young people who want to apply for internship. Let the institutions where you be placed be proud of you, to say, okay, the government brought in this program and the young people are working well, they are putting in the best, it's a good program, so that they can even think of engaging you permanently.
The interns had this to say.
I'm happy to be chosen among the internship members. It's a good thing. I'm very happy to be among them, and it will help me gain a lot of experience.
This thing is going to help me as well as my family, because I never thought of I can be one of them.
Taonga Nkoma reporting for ZANIS in Kasama District.
We move to Luapula Province, where over 600 people in Mwansabombwe District with various ailments have been screened by the Ministry of Health Mobile Health Service personnel during an outreach program conducted during the Mtomboko ceremony. Luapula Province Clinical Care Specialist Wembia Nkula said the move was aimed at supplementing the district health office in provision of healthcare services. Lewis Changwe has more in the following report.
Mwansabombwe district experienced an influx of people before, during, and after the Mtomboko ceremony. In this vein, the Provincial Health Office supplemented the District Health Office by sending a team of health workers to offer different health care services using the mobile health service vehicles. The local people with different health-related issues and the victims of circumstances took advantage of their presence to seek specialized health care services.
Lero buteko bwaleeta abadokita batubombera panondera ndana nfwa bwino lino bakinsokola nimpola mumala namuleka tuleta shamwani
nokutangata wale utangata fe kuno takuli uwafya so fe tuleta shaku buteko buli bonda kai bule bomba.
Luapula Province Clinical Care Specialist Dr. Bwembiankula explains some of the health care services rendered.
The Provincial Health Office, in conjunction with Mansa General Hospital, we've been providing various health services through an outreach mobile program which started 2 days ago. During these 2 days, we've managed to see over 600 outpatients, and we're providing various services. These include, of course, the outpatient services, laboratory services, radiological services, and pharmaceutical services. So this is to take advantage of the increased numbers in Mwansabombwe due to the Mtomboko ceremony, and help bring the services as close to the people as possible.
Lewis Changwe, ZANIS, Mwansabombwe, Luapula Province.
Still in health news, Solwezi district in Northwestern Province has recorded 14 deaths associated with measles outbreak. Speaking during a media briefing in Solwezi, District Health Director Bomba Mubala attributed the cases recorded to a weak routine measles immunization system in the area. More in the following report.
Measles is a vaccine-preventable disease but can be deadly, particularly for children who have missed a routine childhood immunization. In Solwezi, the highly contagious and serious airborne disease measles have claimed lives. District Health Director Dr. Vumba Bubala reveals that children are dying from homes.
A father died on Tuesday and had 2 children who died 2 days later. The Kalola area has also seen 8 deaths that have been reported out of several families. We had a death of 3 in the Kamiswalo area of a woman who came from Kakombe, went to deliver at her mother's place in Kamiswalo, died of measles-related causes, lost the baby that she delivered to measles-related causes, and also had another child die.
Solwezi District Health Office has embarked on a training program where 366 healthcare workers and 250 community-based volunteers are being trained to prepare them for running the measles outbreak response.
It's showing us that our routine immunization system is not strong enough to ensure that our children are being vaccinated at 100%, and as a result we have outbreak. So in the next coming days, today we are beginning the training for our staff in our facilities to prepare them for running this outbreak response.
Meanwhile, Solwezi District Clinical Care Officer Hilary Luputa had this to say.
It starts with fever, which takes place within 10 to 14 days. The other sign is a running nose. The child will usually have a cough. They will have red eyes, and those eyes will be tearing. They have some white spots in the mouth. When you ask them to open the mouth, you'll see some white spots called complex spots in the mouth. Then there will be rash, which generally starts on the face and the upper part of the neck, and then later on spreads throughout the body.
For ZANIS in Solwezi, Northwestern Province, I'm Hemit Hachilonde.
And in sports news, the Zambia Judo Association, ZJA Secretary General Mavuto Nguni says the organization is working tirelessly with other stakeholders, ensuring that members of the Judo for Peace in refugee settlements are given an opportunity to take part in international competitions. Speaking in Kalumbira district during a judo tournament held at Maheba Secondary School, Mr. Nguni says judo is an education tool that can be used to safeguard the lives of young people. Details in the following report by Chaibu Nkoma.
Judokas have gathered in Maheba refugee settlement of Kalumbira district of Northwestern Province to appreciate each other's skills.
Today we hosted the National Judo Tournament where refugees from Maheba as well as Mayuka participated. And also we had Zambia Police and also Zambia National Service participating. Judo in Maheba was introduced in 2016. In Maheba, Judo has helped a lot in terms of children. We know that they come from a different background and then they have an experience of trauma. And then Judo being a sport which allows children from the age of 7 and then going above. It has helped a lot. Today, as we speak, we've got 385 children that are participating in judo.
The Zambia Judo Association Secretary General Mavuto Nguni has this to say.
We always appreciate that sport provides social integration. There's no refugee in judo, there's no woman, there's no Muslim, there's no Catholic in judo. We are all one.
Meanwhile, Northwestern Province Sports Advisory Committee Chairperson Adams Ngamela has encouraged members of the community to embrace judo.
People look at certain sporting activities as a threat to society. The essence of that activity, that sporting activity, is not to terrorize the society, but it is a sport that can enhance, one, their living, two, their health. So there are so many benefits out of it. So even those others that are out there who think that these sporting activities are no longer sporting activities but a threat to society, that they should change their mindset.
For ZANIS News, I am Chebun Koma in Kalumbira District, Northwestern Province.
That sporting item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, a recap of stories that made headlines. Zambia-Israel sign framework of cooperation. Construction of houses in Chinga to commence. 226 youths selected for internship in Northern Province. Plus, judo to be promoted in refugee settlements. That's all we could accommodate on this bulletin. On behalf of the entire production team, this has been Michelle Luwinda. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, it's bye-bye and God bless.